Good evening. Again, yes, I'm still wearing the same shirt. If you have not noticed a pattern over the last few years, I just kind of rip out tackle talks when I have time, so I usually do more than one. Anyway, for today's or tonight's tackle talk, we're going to talk about Cougar Baits out of Colorado. Max Kaufman was kind enough to send me some baits through Matt Ridgway when he was out in Colorado earlier this season. So without further ado, we're going to dive in. He's got several different baits. I know that his some of his stuff was recently on Brian's channel, Angling Anarchy. He did a little rundown of some of the jigs with Rich Reinhardt. So I guess segueing into that perfectly, I will just kind of talk about the jig. This one has been living in my late fall box because we do some jigging in the late fall here in Iowa. I'm trying to center it just right, but it's a really cool perchy, bluegilly kind of color. We've got some oranges and a lot of yellow and greens in there. It's got some stripes. It's hard to see the stripes, I guess you can kind of see it there a little bit better, but just the way that the light is hitting it, it's hard to kind of see them with how much light it's getting. But this thing has been living in my late fall box, my jigging box. I will probably utilize it some this weekend, and if not this weekend, probably with Barry at some point this fall. But it's just really cool. It's got this little blade, teaser blade off the back. Really heavy up front. The profile is great. I mean, when you're talking muskies eating, 5 to 7 inch bluegills, does it get any closer in profile to that than this? It doesn't. So really cool bait. I'm excited to use it more than I have. You can tell a lot of the detail that goes into the tying. I mean, he epoxied the threads. That's absolutely huge. Anyone who's messed with any sort of bucktails or anything like that knows how critical it is to kind of epoxy those things so that way it lasts a little bit longer to the teeth, or when teeth hit it. The next one that he sent me, which is a really cool bait too, is his Chatterbait. And the reason that I really like his Chatterbait, well, there's two big reasons that I like it. Because it's kind of an in-between size of the, it's kind of an in-between size between like the TNA regular short dragon and the mini angry dragon. So like, I feel like it's a really good profile for between those two sizes. I like the tail a little bit beefier too. Sometimes the pike, as many of you know, can get a little bit squirrely and they end up, grabbing onto the tail. A little bit beefier tail is definitely not going to hurt in those situations. The other thing that I really like about this bait is that it's got single hooks. So in some of those situations, like in Canada, where you're not going to be able, it's not really focusing on the hook, so you're just going to have to trust me that the single hooks are there. There's one. There's the other. When you're fishing in kind of the slop in Canada or here at home in some of those shallower weed beds, shallower weed flats, it's huge to have something that's not going to catch all of the weeds in the lake when you're trying to fish through them. So when you're trying to make every cast count as much as you can throughout the day, that's a good way to do it. So I really like that this one has those single hooks. It also looks to be a little bit better put together and will hold up better than the Innovations ones. The Innovations bucktail, or the Innovations Chatterbaits definitely catch fish, as evidenced by Connor. The only problem with them is that the durability of those baits is not good. From what I have seen. Again, roast me in the comments if you've seen different, that's fine. But the catching ability is not what is in question. It's just like if you catch a couple 40-inch fish on them, they probably shouldn't fall apart later in the day. But I digress. These ones are not built that way. This is not about those Chatterbaits. This is about Cougar Baits. chatterbaits. Last and probably, well, not last on the list, I guess. Last of the baits he gave me, I'll show you some of his plastics, but maybe I'll just do that. I mean, he sent me some grubs to kind of replace things as I see them, change things out as I see them. He sent me a couple of other chatterbaits and a really cool proto model. So these will, you know, kind of replace in case some stuff falls off, or I guess I could change them out or whatever. He sent me a really cool proto model for a bait that I haven't spent a ton of time with, that I need to spend more time with in this upcoming season, but I cannot reveal that. So we'll talk about the stuff that he has on his lineup. So again, this is probably the one that I'm most excited for. This is the kind of underspin model. He's got this as kind of a deer hair. I really like this underspin down here. It reminds me a lot of a beaver in the way that hopefully it will perform and hopefully kind of run through the water. So I really think that this will be a really good bait come springtime. I think that this is a very good color for the spring, and it's just something that's a little different that they don't see very often, that can just be kind of subtle, and I feel like I can kind of work it, pop it over the weeds, and it'll be just something different that those fish don't normally see or aren't really used to seeing, especially in our waters. So again, I'm really excited to throw this more come spring. Right now, I think we're kind of past the window on that one, and probably same with the chatterbait. But again, this one I will definitely be using plenty throughout the rest of the season. So that's all I've got from Cougar Baits for today. So thank you, Max, for sending me that stuff. I really appreciate it. I will do my best to get it chewed. No guarantees, but I'm very fortunate to have a lot of really good dudes that I work with, and you know, that trust me to run their stuff. So it's cool to add another guy to that list. Cannot tell all of the people thanks enough for all those things. So anyway, if you enjoyed the tackle talk, let me know. Check out Cougar Baits. That stuff will be linked below. It's awesome. And there'll be more tackle talks on the way. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.